Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me today. My name is General Confusion, and this is once again Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. So we're just going to finish off this believing impact foil that's attacking us. Goodbye. And now, let's launch a couple of sweeps for naval units. Wait, is there anything in that transport? No? Well, I'm going to explode it anyway. Goodbye. Now let's take He Walked on Water. Okay, yeah, I actually have enough planes that what I should have done is I should have just attacked with all the planes first and then occupied that base. But I didn't do that. So we're going to take this transport. Actually, we're going to see if we can upgrade this guy. We have no prototype of a superior model. That's a lie. Let's go foil, troop transport, don't need armor, but we do need hypnotic trance, and deeper radar. We have no empty design slots. Ah, okay, so this is one problem that comes up later in the game. You actually run out of slots in which you can have units. So what you have to do is, you have to pick a unit, and then replace it. So we're not going to do a sea colony pod, we're doing a transport. We want the transport to be picking up pods and such from from the ocean. Yes, intrinsic unit types cannot be replaced. Okay, well that's stupid. So let's see what we can get rid of. We have the Tachyon cruiser, which we don't have any produced of. Chaos artillery, transfusion cruiser transport. What can we afford to get rid of? Fusion needlejet colony pods? Tachyon artillery? Regular old silk steel sentinels, of which we don't have any because we've been designing them with special abilities. That's fine. Don't need any armor. We do want deep radar, and we do want the hypnotic trance. So now, we're going to upgrade this unit to a transfusion transport so that we can use it to pop pods.
Request confirmation.
Gonna take one more turn before that artifact can link to the network node. We'll fly him down to Port Grace, and we're just gonna start blowing up believing military units for fun. Basically, we're hunting the believers for sport at this point. Oh, there's a believing transport. Goodbye to you.
Combat report.
I think those were the believers that were over here in the ocean. I think they probably came over to try and, I don't know, accomplish something. I'm gonna get my mind worms in here to go open up those pods. In the meantime, these guys are just forming. Is that a rocky square? No, it's rolling and moist. Okay, time for a little bit more development. Alright, sunspot activity has ended. We can once again talk to people.
Production
That's
complete.
nice. Morgan Interstellar now has a hybrid forest. It's not producing a whole lot of psych. So let's get a network node here, because that will give us the 2 drones removed bonus. Our inefficiency here is huge, so building a children's creche. Oh, we have a children's creche. Well, what else can we build to reduce inefficiency? We could relocate the headquarters, but that doesn't seem terribly useful. I think probably the only thing we can do here is, well, we can get an aerospace complex and a fusion lab, and then we'll just keep rolling along.
Complete.
Morgan Metallurgy has its tree farm. Let's get a hybrid forest as well.
Complete.
As you can see, our tubes, our maglev tubes, are starting to show up. This transfusion cruiser transport, I actually need some units, because I need to send some ground units to pick up all these pods that are sitting around on land. Late game like this, pod popping becomes actually a serious part of your research economy, just because you can pick up so many artifacts when you have all this access to all these pods that nobody else has gotten. Although, by this point of the game, most of the pods are usually gone. I think in this case it was just that it just happened to be luck that nobody spawned on these islands or this big continent up here. So let's see what discovery this gives us.
I loved my chosen. How then to face the day when she left me? So I took from her body a single cell, perhaps to love her again. Commissioner Previn Lal, Time of Bereavement.
Okay, so now we have the ability to integrate artificial cells, basically. Biomachinery is the integration of artificial mechanics at the cellular level, and it allows for the cloning vats, which is a secret project, and once you've built it, all your states automatically enter a permanent state of population boom and will grow every turn. Once you've built it, it also negates the negative effects of the power and thought control social engineering choices. So power, for instance, gives you -2 industry. Well, once you have the cloning vats, power gives you no possible downside. Similarly, thought control, which is a future society that we haven't gotten to yet, has downsides to it, but if you have the cloning vats, those downsides are eliminated. Which presents sort of this very dark picture of a society under, thought control, where you're literally mind controlling your citizens in an extremely totalitarian way. And if there are any problems, you just replace the citizens. In any case, it also unlocks the next technology, Homo Superior. So we're now taking more and more steps towards upgrading and eventually possibly replacing baseline humanity. Humanity is no longer what's driving our society. Already our society is being driven by genetically engineered and cybernetically upgraded people. We're now moving on to the point where we'll be able to replace baseline humanity entirely with a superior version. Okay, yeah, we can design that, sure. Transfusion transport, yeah, let's upgrade that. Yes, I said yes, good. Okay, and this transport, I would like to actually grab a unit.
Request
So let's hurry that fusion lab. And then get I want a clean unit of some kind. Let's go to the design workshop and mess around with units for a little bit. I will be right back. Okay, so we are going to build some Tachyon Marines at Greenhouse Gate. And use those, load those into the transport once they're done, and we can use them to grab stuff on land. In the meantime, we really do have a lot of believing transports just roaming around, trying to get through to cause some trouble, and it's just not working out for any of them.
Invalid terraform command.
This guy has built his superfusion formers. He should build a children's creche next for efficiency purposes. He's already losing 40% of his energy income at this base. And then network node and tree farm. Definitely need that tree farm, because Assassin's Redoubt is absolutely surrounded with forests.
Invalid terraform command.
Oh, right, we can't plant forests on volcanoes, but I believe Mount Planet gives extra energy, so let's build a solar collector instead. These mind worms can be dropped off there. Yep, that's an alien artifact. Sweet. And that other unit of mind worms can actually stay. No, that other unit of mind worms can be dropped off as well to get the other pod, I guess. Let's save one turn. Everybody else here, yeah, you just wait. You fly. And wait. And stay there. And you stay down there, just because I want you to be kind of a defense here. I could upgrade to a Tachyon Needlejet. Do I have that much money? Wow. I'm gonna upgrade you. Yeah. Transfusion transport. Go grab that. This chopper. What I want that chopper to do is come down here and occupy that base. Let me talk to Miriam here. Oh, she's feeling all lovey-dovey, or at least she's trying to flatter me. Nope, I'm not going to give you orbital space flight. No siree, Bob. And we'll just be taking that base away.
Request confirmation.
And what else do you need? You need a recreation commons, and you need some formers, and then you probably need a network node. I am fascinated by the way that Miriam built a tidal harness, the solar collector of the sea, on a special mineral resource space. That's just interesting. But, hey, I mean, I guess you just do what you gotta do, or at least what you feel like you gotta do. Alright, let's see what this discovery gives us.
Organic superlube? Oh, it's great stuff. Great stuff. You really have to keep an eye on it, though. It'll try and slide away from you the first chance it gets. T.M. Morgan Riley, Morgan Metagenics.
Oh, Morgan Riley, you are such a jokester. Okay, so organic superlubricant gives us a weapon, the fusion laser. It's only a rating of 10, and we've already discovered the tachyon bolt, which is rating 12. So that's not actually useful to us. What is useful to us is that it unlocks more economic and discover technology. So advanced spaceflight, which gives us the plasma shard, a better weapon, and also opens up the other and also opens up the other two, it opens up the orbital power transmitter and the living refinery, which is a secret project that gives you extra support. Nano miniaturization, on the other hand, all that does is unlock a new chassis type, the hover tank, which is like a rover but way better, because it moves faster and ignores terrain. Okay, we've got a resupply pod there. This clean Chaos Cruiser is just going to have to wait and heal up a little bit. This Isle of the Deep, meanwhile, can go grab more pods.
Indigenous life forms.
Oh, the pod was infested with native life forms. So this is actually the best thing that can happen to you when you have a mindworm that's capturing pods, because these mindworms won't attack this mindworm, and that means that you can just attack them one by one and try to capture them.
Turn complete. Turn complete.
I love the neural amplifier.
Genes are not blueprints. This means you can, for example, insert the genes for an elephant's trunk into a giraffe and get a giraffe with a trunk. There are no genes for trunks. What you can do with genes is chemistry, since DNA codes for chemicals. For instance, we can, in theory, splice the native plant's talent for nitrogen fixation into a Terran plant. Academician Prokhor Zakharov. Nonlinear genetics.
Okay, so Centauri genetics, the next step on the Centauri line, basically uses retroviral engineering to figure out and modify the genetic blueprint of the native life forms. That allows us to build locusts of Chiron, which are flying mindworms. They haven't even shown up yet because we've actually been very good about how much planetary damage we've been doing, but often late game, your bases will be assaulted by packs of these things. You can't capture them, you can only build them yourself. They cost 120, they have 8 air moves, so they can, and they don't have the same limitations that needle jets have, so they can just fly forever. It increases mineral production in fungus squares, so at this point, fungus, for us, the Gaians, is now actually relatively productive. It produces energy and nutrients and missiles. It's not a bad square. It also unlocks the Folus mutagen, which, the Folus mutagen is a very interesting one. Partially because of what it is. So it's a mutagen, mutagenic, all these, it means it causes a mutation of some kind. And, it requires Centauri genetics, which requires retroviral engineering. So if you look at it, the Folus mutagen is some kind of retroviral modification that is released in some way. It reduces the effect of industry, okay. Additionally, the fungus confers on all of your units the same combat benefit normally reserved for alien life forms. So it provides a defensive bonus, and I believe your units can then heal in the fungus the way that mindworms can. So this is something that you've done to your people, not something that you've done to planet, that makes them more like the fungus. It's an interesting thought. You know, retroviral engineering leads to the Folus mutagen, which makes your people more like mindworms. In any case, this is a very useful technology, and it also unlocks the next step, which is Centauri Psi, which allows us to build the Psi weapon for non-Mindworm units. It isn't terribly useful at that point in the game, but it is kind of cool. Hawk of Chiron can build a tree farm. So yeah, let's look at the fungus now. Now it's a 2-1-1 square, so not too terribly bad. It's still not as good as forests once we have the hybrid forest build, but it's not bad enough to absolutely want to destroy anymore.
Production complete.
So we are just going to keep moving
Terraform
towards
complete.
Miriam. Honestly, there isn't... I'm just going to drop off that in Fort Liberty and then come back around this way. Honestly, at this point, there isn't much left to do besides go to war with either the Believers or the Peacekeepers. You know, we've occupied 3 continents at this point, plus several smaller islands that the university had. We have sea bases scattered all over the place. We're heavily terraformed. We're building up our MagTube network. We can build some more bases. We can do a little bit more expansion, but that's all stuff that you've kind of seen before. So, I'm going to set the Folus mutagen over here. The cloning vats, I could build the cloning vats, and it is valuable in a way, but on the other hand, it also causes huge drone problems, because
Project
when all of
initiated.
your bases are in a population boom like that, they will grow every turn until they hit the max, or they run out of nutrients. Which basically means if you don't have enough, drone control structures built immediately, your bases will very, very quickly become just drone city. And
Request
that can be a
confirmation.
problem. I'm just going to hurry up all these tree
Confirmation.
farms because I want to get them done.
Request
Especially if you
confirmation.
look, like down here, Defiance Freehold already has a drone. And that's because it doesn't even have a recreation commons, much less a network node. So I'm not going to build the cloning vats just yet. I am going to build the Folus mutagen, and give ourselves more fungus-related bonuses. And it would also allow me to pump out mindworms at, I think they'd be mature or great boils just when I produced them. In the meantime, I'm just going to kind of skip ahead a little bit as I go. Not all that much is going to be happening, I don't imagine. Just because we're just fighting the Believers. Lal is getting stroppy up here, moving into my territory. How dare he? Maybe I'll go destroy him. Despite the fact that my frontline units are at this point far, far beyond the cutting edge of my technology. Sorry, far, far beyond the cutting edge of my technology. Just because at this point my frontline military units are far, far behind the cutting edge of my technology, that doesn't mean that they're not still effective against synth metal garrisons. Yeah, the Peacekeepers are in expansion and build-up mode, and they don't seem to have discovered... Wait, I cannot believe that. They have to have discovered... Yeah, they've discovered high-energy chemistry. Long time ago. They're up to... They actually have fusion power, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like the UN has discovered fusion, and they're building ECM plasma garrisons with fusion reactors. And they also have Gatling lasers. So they're actually, they're coming up in the world. Not up enough to be a threat, but they are coming up. That mindworm boil can just come down here. Yep. We're all going to come down there. But with my Air Force parked over here in former Spartan bases, just kind of ready to go, they really don't have a... If I were to go to war with Lao, he really wouldn't have a chance. Alright, another artifact. Oh, we just discovered advanced spaceflight.
And so we return again to the holy void. Some say this is simply our destiny, but I would have you remember always that the void exists just as surely as you or I. Is nothingness any less a miracle than substance? Sister Miriam Godwinson, we must dissent.
Okay, so advanced spaceflight. I talked about this a little bit already. We have the plasma shard now, which is a strength 13 weapon, and that's kind of the staple weapon for the end game. It takes a few more tech levels before better weapons really start showing up. We have the living refinery and the orbital power transmitter. So the orbital power transmitter is free energy. You can build it at aerospace complexes. It just gives +1 energy to every base, at least every base with an aerospace complex. The living refinery, as I said, gives you +2 support on the social engineering table. So this is actually by far one of the better secret projects, because +2 support just gives you a bunch of free minerals. It also unlocks new technologies, including self-aware machines, true artificial intelligence. We've had partial AI and limited AI for quite some time, but now pretty soon here, we are going to get actual artificial, self-aware, sentient intelligences. We've already had the Fusion Planet Buster for a long time, but now we have the Shard Penetrator, the Shard Megafoil. I'm actually not going to do this one because I'm not building foils anymore, I'm building cruisers, so we're just going to obsolete that. Conventional missiles, I've never really used conventional missiles. They're suicide units. You launch a missile, and it flies in, it hits a unit, and it explodes, and it takes the unit with it, usually. If its reactor level is lower than the target, sometimes it only does some damage. But the problem is, conventional missiles actually cost more than many units. I mean, this costs 72. You know, I could build a garrison unit for, let's make it high morale, you know, for 48, a trained photon garrison. So exploding infantry with missiles, I mean, if you go up to high-level infantry, then exploding them with conventional missiles makes sense. But garrison units, it doesn't. We're just gonna cancel that. Yep, Shard Rover, fine. Drop Shard Squad, let's give him the higher level armor. Done. Drop Shard Shock Troops. Yep, cool. Shard Artillery, Shard Battery, Shard Invaders, Clean Shard Interceptor, all that good stuff. Seems pretty good to me. These Mindworms can jump on that transport, and it can go over here to start picking up more pods.
Indigenous life forms.
Oh no, an Isle of the Deep has surfaced. And we captured it.
Indigenous life forms.
Oh, there's another Isle of the Deep that we captured. That Mindworm has already moved, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this alien artifact back, and on the way we're going to drop off another Mindworm on this ground here. Alright, we captured those Mindworms. We don't have any real chance of winning that fight, so we're just going to wait. Hello, UN Peace Anchorage. Didn't see you up here. So the UN is expanding. I may want to take out the UN, because we've got Miriam pretty well contained with our ocean-bound units. But Lal is just getting stroppy here. Alright, materials pod, that's nice.
Bot recovered.
Alien artifact. Yeah, you fly over to Valley of the Faithful and start bombing that a little bit. Right, so Valley of the Faithful is unguarded. He walked on water, we've already captured. Let's get that clean Chaos Cruiser over that way. We're going to base our Air Force now out of He Walked on Water, because from there we can easily reach both Miriam and Lal. So airstrikes are going to be easy. That guy can stay there while we move this ship out to, to go mess up some more of Miriam's day. Let's just blow up a few of her units here. Several units are elite there, so Time of Salvation is actually now unguarded. If only we had a Marine unit in He Walked on Water, we could take it right now. Oh well. These things happen. I'm going to blow up, or try to blow up, her sensor array here.
Turn complete.
Yay, good. Hi, Sister Miriam. Also, by destroying her garrison in that base, I just noticed I sent it into drone riots. So that's always nice. Nope, I'm not giving you orbital spaceflight.
Production complete.
Okay, we've got a hybrid forest in University Base. So we can now shift over to using those forest spaces to get a little bit extra resource production. And we're going to start building orbital power
Production
transmitters.
complete. Golden Age begun.
Alrighty, Sparta Command has entered a golden age. So golden ages happen when more than half of your population, or half or more of your population, is talents, and you have no drones. Those are the requirements for a golden age. Just in case you didn't know. So we're going to build a network node, and then a hybrid forest at Sparta Command.
Production complete.
The Flowers Preach, meanwhile, has a hybrid forest now, and we're going to build an orbital power transmitter.
Complete.
Fort Superiority has its tree farm, so we're going to build a network node.
Maximum
We are all
population
aware
reached.
that the senses can be deceived, the eyes fooled. But how can we be sure our senses are not being deceived at any particular time, or even all the time? Might I just be a brain in a tank somewhere, tricked all my life into believing in the events of this world by some insane computer? And does my life gain or lose meaning based on my reaction to such solipsism? Project Piro, Specimen 46, VAT 7. Activity recorded mission year 2302-22467. Termination of specimen advised.
Well, that was a little creepy, wasn't it? That was, in case you weren't entirely sure, that was a brain in a jar in a bioenhancement center, engaging in solipsistic musing about whether he might be a brain in a jar. And of course the answer is yes. Yes he is. Because we apparently grew a bunch of brains in jars in pursuit of some secret project that we are pursuing in our bioenhancement centers. So we've gotten that. Razorbeak Wood still has a drone, which I don't like. Despite having 2 police units. Those police units seem to only be removing 2 drones. Interestingly, it should be more than that. Yeah, the Empath, on the other hand, is removing 2 by themselves. What can I do about this? Well, I could make that another Empath. All that really does is it loses me 1 mineral and 4 nutrients, which I can afford to lose. And my psych production is now massive. Other alternatives, what I could do is I could start turning people into engineers. Let's see what happens if I do that. So if I go engineer, still going up, 7650, 8153. Oh, now I'm short on nutrients. Can't have that. Okay, so I could get up to 96 economy and 58 labs. It would require me to give up almost all of my mineral production. I do like mineral production. I'm a fan. You know, I generally approve of minerals. But on the other hand, Razorbeak Wood isn't really doing much back here, except that I can use those minerals to produce orbital power transmitters. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to set Razorbeak Wood to building like 4 orbital power transmitters.
Population reached.
Morgan Energy Monopoly can build an aerospace complex. That'll be
Production
handy.
complete.
But unfortunately, Ocean Flower is engaging in drone riots because, of course they are, because they are ungrateful little pricks.
Drone riots.
It'll only take 1 turn to finish that. And then once it does, we will build a rec commons and a network node.
Production complete.
Sea Cradle, meanwhile, has its energy bank. Okay, so the missile foil is fully repaired because we have the secret project, the naval, the one that gives you a naval yard in every base, the Maritime Control Center. That's the name. Gosh, I could never remember all these names. That'll only take 1 turn. So we're gonna pop this guy out. Hi, Lal. How you doing? You're feeling cooperative. That's nice. He wants a unified field theory. If you could spare more money than you have, sure. Vote at an upcoming council meeting. No, you know what? I don't think I really need anything. The only thing that I might do is I could go for diplomatic victory. But we'll see. Or I could repeal the UN Charter. Yeah, okay, let's repeal the UN Charter. Oh, no, since he's the peacekeeper, he will not vote to repeal the UN Charter unless he's in, like, a really bad way. So, what's funny here is that actually, these units are almost identical. My ancient missile foil that I haven't upgraded for, you know, time out of mind, and this peacekeeper Gatling foil, both have plasma armor, both have fusion reactors. The only actual difference is that mine has one more point of weapons. I'm going to take a detour in order to blow up some Peacekeeper military units. I mean, not Peacekeeper, Believer. Gosh, I can't say words. That doesn't have any units in it, so it's not an immediate threat. Oh, the Believers have fusion too. Because that foil that I just exploded, yep, the Believers have fusion reactors. Okay, that won't make that much of a difference because, to be honest, my units are already so much better than theirs that them having fusion reactors will not save them.
Indigenous life forms.
Okay. Well, goodbye.
Indigenous life forms.
The pod was infested with mindworms. I could try to get over there. I can't quite reach, though. I'm just going to leave this guy here in Militia Station for the moment. This alien artifact. Does Fort Liberty have a network node? No. He can't get to any bases that have a network node, but Sparta Command and Fort Superiority are both building network nodes, which I will hurry up.
Energy.
So go to Sparta Command, little buddy.
Invalid terraform command.
Yeah, so since this is a volcano, it produces extra energy, and it's also high up, so it produces extra energy for that reason, which leads to it producing 4 energy in a single square, which is nice. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this one here. We've discovered some interesting technology. We have moved forward a little bit against Miriam. I'm not pushing hard, because I'm not interested in wiping her out immediately. If I was, I would bring over this army that I have here in Fort Liberty and just pour onto her, and I'd be able to take her out in a pretty short period of time. Research-wise, though, we are making very interesting strides forward, especially in terms of genetic engineering and AI. So, in any case, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, leave a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and more content like this will be coming your way on the regular. I will see you in the next one.